For thousands of years, the world farmed organically, and it was common to see small farms raising a variety of crops and animals. And the animals were fed grass, not corn or grain, and the manure was used to naturally fertilize the soil. There were no pesticides. But after World War II, it all changed. Larger food growers began gobbling up small farms, and the emphasis switched to mass-producing food for profit. To grow more food faster, farmers started using fertilizers, pesticides, and herbicides, and that's when the trouble started. It's a fascinating history, and producer-director Chris Taylor illustrated it so well in his documentary, Food Fight. Hi, Chris. So nice to have you here.
Thank you.
I think a great documentary can change the world, and what is it that drives you?
How my film got started was a question that I was asked: what happened? Why can't I get a good tomato anymore?
Why can't we get a good tomato?
And the reason you can't get a good tomato is that the same gene that they switched on to make tomatoes stay red longer is the same gene that also controls the sugar content. What happens is that in favor of convenience, we're losing taste.
I remember being with Wolfgang Punk once, and he said to me, your food is as good as your ingredients. When you look at how taste has been engineered out of our food, that people don't realize what an incredible peach tastes like. Well, before we get too far into it, let's look at a clip from your film, Food Fight, which is incredible because it really sets the stage.
The industrial food system is not doing what a food system needs to do, which is not just produce lots of food, but to keep a population healthy. The industrial food system is making us very sick in many, many different ways. There is the obesity epidemic, there is diabetes. 4 out of 10 leading killers in this country are food-related chronic diseases.
We thought we had to industrialize everything, including how to grow vegetables, farm tomatoes, or grow and raise cattle, and all of a sudden we found out there's no taste.
If we're not careful, we're going to wake up someday in this country and realize we are completely dependent on our food supply to a few but very large agribusinesses.
The goal of the Farm Bill is to make sure that we have the most efficient, low-cost production agriculture that we can have.
In a sense, our current food system promotes eating junk food.
It's quite an accomplishment that we've managed to make ourselves so fat so fast in this country.
Quality of our food is measured by how it'll ship rather than how it tastes.
The reason that Big Ag doesn't grow delicious food, that's not really their aim. Their aim is to make dollars.
This is what happens when people aren't on the Agriculture Committee and get involved in this very complex area.
Who would ever have guessed that the taste of vegetables would turn out to be the start of a revolution?
It's pretty daunting when Michael Pollan says that 4 out of the 10 chronic diseases are food caused. What is causing this?
We have large farms that are really set up to grow 2 crops, corn and soy. These 2 crops are then taken by the large food processors and turned into a multitude of snack foods, essentially.
Like what?
Potato chips, cookies.
And this is high fructose corn syrup?
High fructose corn syrup laced food that's not nutritionally sound, that's kind of leading us as a population to all these chronic health-related, food-related issues, obesity, cancer.
Right. I once looked at a graph since high fructose corn syrup was introduced into our diet of diabetes. And if diabetes was here since the introduction of it, it just went like that. Maybe one of the worst things introduced into our diet. Are there many small farms left?
Since World War II, we've lost farmers. We've lost 4 million farmers. We had 6 million farmers at the end of World War II. Now we have about 2 million. On the other hand, the single largest sector, growing sector in food is organic. So we're seeing farms come online in the organic sector in the small kind of 30-acre range.
Why should we be eating grass-fed beef? You talk a lot about this in your film.
Beef that's raised in open pasture farms are much better for us as food, but also better environmentally. The costs are much more beneficial to the community, not having these large confined or concentrated animal feed operations.
And it tastes so much better. If you eat a cow that's been fed grass, that's their natural evolution. You feed a cow corn, which is against its natural evolution. That's why they developed the E. coli.
Yep. One of the big issues with the big livestock farms, and especially with beef production, is the amount of chemicals that's going into our food supply. And it's not just antibiotics, which are a large part of it. 70% of our antibiotics are actually fed to animals, not to humans.
Why are they giving the animals these antibiotics? Shouldn't they just be free on the range?
They are necessary because in this concentrated, confined environment, the bacteria population just explodes.
Do you know how important this film is that you've done? It will change the world. It's grassroots. I'm so happy you did this. Everybody should watch. It's called Food Fight. Where can they find it?
Through my website, foodfightthedoc.com. It's also on iTunes and Amazon.com.
iTunes. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
A pleasure.
A great
Thank you,
accomplishment.
Suzanne.
Thank you.